Madrid beat Espanyol 2-1 in not the most convincing way, so make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get straight into it because we started off good. The game started off good. We had a couple of chances. We were playing very well, moving the ball very fast, very slick. But after some time, Espanyol took over, and in those first like 15 to 20 minutes, Mbappe was connecting with Carreras, the midfield was connecting. Our center back was playing the ball very well, Arda Guler was taking in, Dumfries making those runs in behind, it looked very balanced. We looked very fast on the ball, very good on the ball. But like I said, after 15, 20 minutes, Espanyol started creating chances. They started keeping the ball and they started pushing us back, and I just didn't understand it. We looked back to two seasons ago, last season. We went back to that Real Madrid after the first couple of minutes. We stopped pressing. Like Vinny and Mbappe stopped pressing. The only players that would press were Jude Bellingham and Arda Guler, which you can't press an entire team with two players. Vinny would make the pressing run here and there. Mbappe would make the pressing run here and there. But if they don't do it consistently, then we're not gonna keep the ball consistently. We're not gonna have that forward pressure consistently. Like if Mbappe and Vinny don't press together, if they don't press all the time, not only when they want to, then it's gonna be tough for just Jude Bellingham and Arda Güler to press. So we looked very good when everyone was pressing. We're moving forward. We're keeping the ball, but like when Espanyol started taking possession, controlling the game, putting shots in, Courtois had to save some. They put some just that wide where you thought maybe they hit it a little bit more towards the middle. They score it, or Courtois has to make another block. There was a lot of question marks throughout the entire game, but we got that Jude Bellingham goal. Arda Güler with the beautiful cross. Arda Güler was probably my favorite player, probably the man of the match in my opinion. Arda Güler was so good everywhere. Well, not not my man of the match. I have another one, someone else I'll talk about. But he puts in that perfectly crossed to Jude Bellingham. And I think Jude Bellingham is looking exactly like I talked about in preseason. He's gonna have that Lampard role he's gonna get a lot of goals. He's gonna get in a lot of good positions. He's gonna get a lot of opportunities, a lot of runs in behind, a lot of late box runs. And I think that's kind of what he's doing. He wins that header perfectly. Like he wins it like he's a striker that's been playing for 20 years. He won that so perfectly, perfect header, very good by Arda Güler. Jude Bellingham, like I said in preseason, he's gonna score a lot of goals. I promise you. In La Liga, he's gonna score a lot of goals. In Champions League, he's gonna score a lot of goals. He's gonna have a very impressive season. I can see it coming. Jose Mourinho understands Bellingham. Jose Mourinho likes Bellingham. You could tell it. The way he fights for every ball, the way he talks about Jude Bellingham, the way, like usually other managers, they're either talking about Vinny or Mbappe. But Jose Mourinho talks a lot about Bellingham and Arda Güler. He talks so much about them, and I just think he really likes both of them. I think he's very impressed by them. He likes the mentality they have. He likes the way they always go forward. They always trying to press, always trying to win the ball back. And I think they're the perfect match. If there's someone that could give the ball to Jude Bellingham when he's making those late runs in the box, it's Arda Güler. Arda Güler his pass, his position is so perfect, and I think they'll mix very well. For people saying, "Oh, Arda Güler has to play in 10. Oh, Jude Bellingham, they can't play together." They can most definitely play together. Promise me. Trust me. I mean, and I promise you as well. So another thing that I liked Valverde, I really like Valverde and the way was positioned. He played more of a defensive role today. He wins a lot of duels. He wins the ball back defensively. He looked very solid. He won the ball back so many times, and him alongside someone like Bernardo Silva, who's more about slowing the game down, controlling the game, making the ball tick. Passing forward when he has to. Winning the ball when he has to, getting the ball from the center backs and trying to split the lines. That's something that Bernardo Silva does very well. I really liked the way Bernardo Silva is being utilized at Real Madrid. At first I thought they would use him as like a right-sided player that tucks in, kind of like Arda Güler. But I don't think he has like the legs or the skill moves to do that anymore. Arda Güler does. He's over here nutmegging, taking players on, like he still has it in him. Bernardo Silva is more of a dictator now. He's more of a on the ball player. Get the ball from the center backs, push the team forward. That's kind of what Bernardo Silva role does. It's going to be interesting to see what Camavinga and Chouamini do if these two keep up that consistency. They'll get minutes because we'll have a lot of games this season, and Jose Mourinho is very good at having team A, team B. He's very famous for having that at Real Madrid last time. We had team A, we had team B. He used one in the Champions League, he used one in La Liga. If one of the league games was very hard, like a Barcelona and Athletic, a Villarreal, Real Sociedad, who I'll get used to because we're facing them. He'll use a team A, and if we're playing someone slower in the Champions League, he'll use team B. So I think Jose Mourinho is very good at rotating. We have the players to rotate it. If we have a very important, if we have a big game, if we have two big games in like a week, let's say we face Atleti in midweek, and then we face at the end of the week, and we face Champions League game midweek. You could play Tchouaméni, Camavinga in one of them. You could play Bernardo Silva and Valverde in another of them. Like we have very very lot of talent, and I think Jose Mourinho will get the best of it. Our center backs looked very well. Konate and Dean Housen looked very solid. My man of the match but just to let you guys know is Konate. I just think Konate was immense. He wins the ball every time. He covers ground perfectly. And the thing is, the way Dumfries plays, he's always up and he's by the byline. So when we get attacked, Konate has to cover that entire space, and he covered it perfectly. When Trent came on and he tucked into midfield, Konate would cover that space perfectly. He won the ball aerially so many times. He won the ball one on one so many times. He uses his body perfectly. I think this is the Konate we need the entire season. This is the Konate we need for the entirety of his contract, because Militao is going to be out injured. Rudiger, he gets injuries here and there. And I think Konate is so important. He looks so good. He's my man of the match. I really loved how solid he made us look. Apart from that time where Espanyol took control a little bit in the first half, I think Konate was very, very, very good. Dean Housen looked very good. He looked more physical, which I was so happy to see. I was so happy to see how he was winning his duels in the air. He was pushing players off. He was winning the ball. He was stepping up, and then the thing about Dean Housen is he's the best. He's our best defender on the ball. Like, he's the best center back we have on the ball. He's so good. He's so smooth on the ball. His passes, his switches of play, he's so smooth. So he's gonna be very, very important to us. Alvaro Carreras had a very solid game. I think he was all right defensively. I think he slipped a little bit, but the way he runs forward, the way he could either do inverted runs, he could do overlapping runs. He's very good at passing forward. He doesn't fall under pressure. If there's players pressing him, he knows how to beat the press. He's very good. I like Alvaro Carreras as our backup. But I want to, for Real Sociedad, which I'll talk about that game in a bit, I want to see Cucurella. I really want to see Cucurella more. Dumfries, like I said, he had a good first half, we making those runs in behind, but towards the end, in defensively and on the ball, he's not the best. He's not like a Trent. He's not someone like a Reece James. He's not that type of player. He's not a Hakimi, but he's very good off the ball, making those runs in behind. He's very good defensively. He kept his winger pretty quiet for most of the game. I know we conceded the goal, but Dumfries, I think he looked okay for a debut game at Real Madrid. Midfielders I've talked about, Arda Güler, Jude Bellingham I talked about. Diomande looked all right when he came on. There's a lot of meme compilations because, look, he joined Real Madrid. We're the biggest club in the world. We're the biggest club of all time. And if you join us with that fee, he joined us. There's going to be a lot of expectation. And there is a lot of expectation, and he has to learn how to deal with it, right? This is Real Madrid. We don't do that. We don't do that Florian Wirtz babying over here. We don't do that Alexander Isak babying over here. We're very direct people. We're very direct fans. We expect a lot. We're going to give him time because we have other players that need to do a lot more for us. There, Kylian Mbappe, Vinny Jr. I'll talk about them in a bit. There's more pressure on them than there will be on Diomande. He'll get a lot of stick. He'll get a lot of criticism, Diomande, if he doesn't start all the games, if he doesn't have good performances. Because look, 140 million coming to Madrid for that amount, he's gonna have a lot of spotlight on him. But not just the opposition fans, but by us ourselves, right? Because like I said, we don't do that Florian Wirtz babying over here. We don't do that Alexander Isak babying over here, right? You're either good enough to be at Real Madrid or you're not. And I think Diomande has the capability to do very good for us. He gives us balance on the right hand side. If Diomande plays, Trent has to play. You can't play Diomande and Dumfries together. If Arda Güler plays, Dumfries plays. But Diomande, for me, he's going to give us very good balance. He's a right winger, right? Just because he's right footed and he's a winger doesn't mean he has to play on the left to cut in, right? For me, he's a right winger. He had very good for the second goal, right? He puts in that pass for Mbappe between the lines, and then that's where I'll get to our score in a bit. That's where he gets the goal, right? And the thing is, you look at players like Diomande, you look at players like Kukureya, you look at players coming in, and some of them adapt really well. They'll adapt very well. Some will take more time. Diomande, I think he'll be one of those out. He'll take some time because there's two other players who have the pressure on them. The pressure that probably the most pressure ever since Messi, Ronaldo eras, right? In big games, right? Vinny Jr. That was embarrassing performance. That was such a bad performance. He always lets the fans get to him. He lets the play get to him, and it's just so man. I grew up right. I've grown on Vinny, right? I've grown seeing him grow. If you like, we've grown together. You could say pretty much, right? And it's one of those things where Vinny needs to do more. We can't have this, right? I posted something on TikTok. Is like, will I be able to see Prime Vinny again? Because it's scaring me at this point. It's not just a last season thing. It's if he has the same season he had last year, it'd be 3 seasons in a row. Three. That's too much. Will I ever see Prime Vinny again? I believe in Vinny. I'm one of those guys. I've been backing Vinny even when they don't. Everyone's saying, "Oh, Mbappe should be the main man. Mbappe should be the main man." I've been one of those guys that keep saying Vinny has done so much for us. He has good moments. Like the last year Champions League, the second leg versus Man City. He has given us so much. He gives us patches here and there. He gives us moments, but man, play games like this is where I can't defend Vinny, right? And I think what last season, I think it was one of the league phase games where he just looked. I think it was the league phase game against Man City. Yeah, when we lost against Man City and we lost against Liverpool, I think there was a run in the Champions League where we lost against like some of the Premier League teams, and Mbappe was out injured and Vinny was the guy, right? I just couldn't defend him, right? I just couldn't. There's so many times where I just can't defend Vinny anymore. There's too many times now where I just can't defend Vinny, and it's going up to 2 years now. It's 2 years and a half now, you could say, right? Man, that was embarrassing by Vinny. He needs to improve a lot. He needs to improve a lot. That new makeover is giving him like extra like arrogance. That he needs to show on the pitch. I don't care if you have arrogance off the pitch. I don't care if you're confident. If you're arrogant at your house, I don't care if you're arrogant when paparazzis are coming onto you. Be arrogant on the pitch in a good way. In a good way. Pass the ball when you have to pass the ball. There were so many times where he tried to take on four players instead of putting in a cross in or putting the ball into Jude Bellingham or passing it back to his fullback Alvaro Carreras who's waiting. There's a lot of times where Vinny would be like on the corner of the goalkeeper box and he would try to cut in and shoot or cut in and take a player on. And Alvaro Carreras is making that disciplined run in behind, right? And that's the disciplined run in behind so Vinny could pass it to him and he could put a cross in, right? Very disciplined by Carrera. As a fullback, not fullbacks don't always do that. They don't have to make that run. But Alvaro Carreras kept that discipline of making that run in behind of Vinny so he could pass the ball to him if he had to. But he just kept losing the ball. Vinny lost so many balls. And what annoys me most about the thing that I've always said that annoys me a lot is that when you have a bad game, and you still press and you still defend and you win balls back and you make the right passes and you make good passes, then and you don't get a goal and assist and you don't have good performance when it comes to going forward. I'm cool. I'll be fine with that. I'll back you, right. I'll defend you. But when you have bad games in attack and you don't have your shots and you don't have your way with defenders and beating them in one-on-ones, but apart from that, you don't defend, you don't press, you do lazy work, you don't run, you don't make the extra run. That's when I just can't defend you, and I don't want to defend you at that point, okay? And this is for both Vinny and Mbappe. When I'm speaking there, if you probably won't, you probably aren't watching this, but let's say they were right. When you don't have a good game in attack, and apart from that, you don't defend, you don't press, you don't make the discipline run, you don't cover your space, you don't come back to defend, you don't help out your team, you don't press when the team is trying to press. That's when I can't defend you and when I don't want to defend you, right? Because there's a lot of times where Mbappe would lose the ball, stand still. Vinny would lose the ball, stand still, put his head down. Like we're not Spurs. If you lose the ball, you have to get back to it. This is Real Madrid. If you lose the ball, you have to get back to it. Like it annoys me so much seeing Vinny and Mbappe lose the ball and stand still and complain and throw his hands up, right? ref, oh, you should have marked that. Now I can't help my team defend, right? No, that's not how it works. If you lose the ball and you think the ref got it wrong, that should have been a foul. Get up and defend. Get up and press. Like, it annoys me so much, and I'll never. You will never hear the end of me if they keep doing this. I'll keep talking about this week in, week out if they keep doing it, because it annoys me, right? Even when we win, it annoys me. Um, Thankfully, we have a striker. We have a striker. SB saved us the game. SB saved us the game. He comes on and he wins the balls. He gets his goal, and he's a proper striker. He fights the center backs. He's between the center backs. He's ready in the box for anything, whether it's a cross, whether it's a through ball, whether it's a rebound. SB is there. He scores as the winner. And the thing is, right, I didn't think he was that big, man. That man is like 6'5", 6'6". He's huge, and he's not just tall. He's big. He's strong. He pushes people out, and the thing is, him alongside Mbappe might work a little bit more. Him alongside someone that's just moving around, keeping defenders busy. It might work a little bit more. And I just think SB is one of those players. He's our Joselu, man. Like, right away, he reminded me of Joselu. The amount of times Joselu won us games when the teams were defending in low blocks. The amount of times Joselu would come in and just put his head in. Stay between center backs, win a rebound. Man, I'm so happy with SB, right? And now I want to talk about Real Sociedad, right? Because if you asked me today, with the way I've gone annoyed at both Vinny and Mbappe, right? Well, more Vinny more, right? Because Mbappe had a lot of times, right? He missed a lot of chances. In another day, we're saying Mbappe scored a hat trick, and he didn't really do much when it comes to press defending, but he scored 3 goals, so we can't really tell him anything, right? Because he had like 8 chances that he missed, and on another day, Mbappe gets those in, right? But Vinny, he just annoyed me so much. I wouldn't be surprised, and I'd be kind of glad if Jose Mourinho makes the biggest decision, right? If he says, you know what, Vinny, you're on the bench today, or Mbappe, you know what, both of you guys are on the bench today. We're giving minutes to Brahim Diaz, to Diomande, to SB. I wouldn't be happy, but I'd be content, because I understand what these players try to do. They try to be Mbappe and Vinny. They try to be, non-negotiables, right? They have to start no matter what, according to them. But Jose Mourinho is the boss. Jose Mourinho was brought in to make the tough decisions. And if you need a bench Vinny after the performance that he had, I don't think he will. But if it were up to me, I would honestly play Brahim Diaz, play Diomande, play Bernardo Silva, play Valverde, and play SB. Right? I feel like, nah, not Mbappe. I feel, if you were to ask me, I would genuinely put SB on top and Mbappe like 4-4-2, maybe a 4-4-2 works for us. With Diomande on the right, and on the left we could use Brahim Diaz with Bernardo Silva, or on the left, like a left attacking mid. But the thing is, like, I feel like it's tough to make the tough decisions, but because I'm me, right? If you ask Jose Mourinho, he'll make the tough decisions. I think Jose Mourinho, I want him to make more tough decisions, right? If Vinny has a bad game, hook him, take him out. If Mbappe has a bad game, hook him, take him out. I have loyalty to Real Madrid. You have to love Real Madrid first, and then the players come second. Manager comes second too, right? First is the club. Fight for the club. Win your duels. Win the game. Win trophies. That is what Real Madrid is about. But SP, for me, he has to get a lot more minutes, because I know it's not just the 10 minutes he got, but just this presence, the what he does as a striker. He's a striker. He's the type of striker that I like. I really like these type of strikers. That is why I like Gonzalo Garcia a lot. That is why I like Erling Haaland a lot. That is why I like these type of strikers a lot, right? These strikers that are always in the box, ready to score goals, right? Ready to fight their center backs, push their center backs away. Victor Osimhen style, right? That is why I like these type of strikers, like a Didier Drogba. That's the type of strikers I really, really like. The only other striker that I really love that does a lot of that movement things is Karim Benzema, because what he did. Karim Benzema was something you can't compare Karim Benzema to the two other players, right? He's best of the best in my opinion. But when you have someone like SB, who's an out and out striker, and this team that needs that, right? We need that. We need that around Madrid. We need an out and out striker. SB is there to do that. Give him more minutes. Real Sociedad. My starting 11 for Real Sociedad would be pretty similar to this one, honestly. It'd be Thibaut Courtois, Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. Dean Howson and Konate stays at center backs. We need to have a consistent center back pairing. Left back, gotta go Cucurella. Midfielders, I'll stick with Bernardo Silva, and I stick with Bernardo Silva. Valverde. Well, you know what? I'll switch it up a bit. Valverde, Arda Güler in midfield. I think Arda Güler could play that Bernardo Silva role. So I'll go Arda Güler, Valverde at midfield. Right wing, Diomande. Left wing, Brahim Diaz. No, left wing Mbappe on top, SB, Jude Bellingham in behind, right? I think Vinny needs to understand that he's not going to start every game if he has terrible games, and the pressing, the discipline, how disciplined you have to be. I think we need to set standards. I don't care. Under Jose Mourinho, I trust Jose Mourinho. There has to be standards. And if you have a game like that and you're just complaining and you're not pressing, you're not disciplined enough to defend, you need to be taken off. And or you know what? Start Vinny, start Mbappe. But if they have a bad game, take him out. Genuinely, like you know what? Diomande on the right, Trent Jude in the 10, Vinny on the left, Mbappe as striker. But if they have a bad game by 60th minute, take either one of them out. If and it's not just for them, it's for everyone. If anyone's having a bad game, take him out. We have enough players. If Valverde has a bad game, put in Chouameni. If Arda Güler has a bad game, put in Bernardo Silva. If Diomande has a bad game, move Arda Güler to the right. If Vinny has a bad game, put in Brahim Diaz. If Mbappe's having a bad game, put in SP or put in Mbappe, take out Vinny, put Mbappe on the left, put SP on top. We need to set these type of standards where if you're having a bad game, you're not you're getting taken out. Real Madrid beat Espanyol. A lot of question marks, a lot of similarities to last season. I think we'll improve, and genuinely, we have to improve. We need to improve and stay consistent, be consistent. Real Madrid, be Espanyol. We face Real Sociedad midweek, which is pretty interesting. I want to see what Jose Mourinho does to move. And yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do you agree with me on my criticisms of our players? Do you agree with me with my man of the match of Konate and Arda Güler? Do you agree with me with how important Valverde is going to be to this team? I think it's going to be so important. Do you agree with me that Jude Bellingham is going to be our best player of the season? I think he has every ability to do that, with the way he's playing under Jose Mourinho and kind of like a Lampard role, scoring a lot of goals. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.